Hi everybody, this is Karak from AngryCentaurGaming, and today I'm proud to bring you the review for Spider-Man 2. Actually, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 for the PC. Is this game going to be a success, the likes of which throws the artistic talent into the limelight like Return of the Mac? Or will the game fail harder than Miley Cyrus's drug tests and leave us nothing but the shattered husk of something unidentifiable and without a soul? Graphics are up first because I'm a man and I'm visual. They're not half bad. When sitting still, just like a psychopath isn't bad when they don't talk, this game is far better when nothing is actually occurring. However, when it begins to move, the wheels come off the training bike and little Sally busts her teeth open on V-Seek issues and stutter that have to be seen to be believed. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that I think I had a stroke right around the 5-hour mark, either because to me a diet is simply a creative way of saying let's cook this meat in the fat of this meat and then bake it with this meat, or it was because of the game, one of the two. I blame the game only because meat is blameless. It just sits there juicy and ready to be eaten, while this game actively tries to harm you like a digital version of Jason Statham, just spin kicking the shit out of the good parts of your mind and memories, then saying a corny one-liner before he drives his BMW over your skull and steals your girlfriend. The stutter and the unoptimized bits of this game is simply phenomenal. On the other hand, I can't say it was all bad. Sometimes the textures didn't look bad at all, and when swinging around the city, there were times that the overall world didn't look half bad either, but that's two half bads in the same description. All in all, if it's sitting still, it's cool. If it's moving, it has a tendency to shit itself like an uncle testing a car battery on their balls. Sound, music, and voice. The sound was actually fairly good, with the wind whistling, the guns blamming, the crunch and bang of foes falling to Spidey's spindly spider body, as well as the crunch of steel and the explosion of 5 polygon helicopters. All in all, it was fairly good. The music, honestly, it was just average, with nothing really sticking its hand above the others for attention. I phased it out fairly quickly and found it ignorable, if not sometimes actually a little bit annoying. Voice. Now everybody knows voice is a tiny bit of a sore spot with me, especially if they're paying actors to go in there and do the voice acting. I expect a little bit. Damn. Aside from Stan Lee, who's Stan Lee playing Stan Lee, the voices are probably a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being bad, 1 being bad, and all the numbers in between being descriptions of how best to swallow a handful of fishhooks. I can't tell you what they were thinking when they made this because I can't read the minds of monkeys, but I assume it involved a shit ton of LSD and a battle to the death between 2 squids. The voice acting was terrible, simply bad. The actors themselves seemed to try for the most part, but from the repetitive one-liners to the cutscenes down to random peeps on the street, it's just overall fairly terrible and hard to listen to at times. It's not all hate when it comes to this game. Gameplay. The web slinging is a two-handed affair, with you using a trigger for each arm, and though it takes a bit of getting used to and you still occasionally make love to a building at 90 miles an hour in an excitement-destroying moment of Spider-Man smashing face first into something, overall it handles much better than most games. Leaping and swinging through the world, battling bad guys, collecting things, visiting places from within the comic books, and then repeating that ad nauseum is the name of the game here, and actually the control is fairly spot on. And a little bit like a Scary X returning to give you a late night handjob, the game actually keeps throwing sort of cool shit at you. All the talk of morality and some of the gameplay bits based around being a savior and a menace were genuinely interesting and thought-provoking. And that's why it is even more depressing that the menace system is so broken that it goes beyond saying it is the worst gameplay system in a game ever. There are random crimes around town. Go and help and you become a hero. Don't help and you become a menace. The problem is this causes you to fucking swing around the city like a fool trying to get to scenes before they go critical, and many times you miss them by seconds. If that doesn't kill your boner, then the fact that you're a menace for simply not getting there in time will. It was like trying to negotiate with a snake. A snake knows 2 things, eat shit and hunt shit. This game knows 2 things, pass or fail. That would normally be fine if the parade of crimes wasn't all over the city, spawning all the time, and happened to be all the same goddamn problem. Half the city would have burned down if this many small building fires took place. Do they make the apartments of kerosene and powdered alcohol? Honestly, it was ridiculous and painful at many times. Luckily, the combat has seen a good revamp, and though Spider-Man seems to have entered Arkham Asylum and violated Batman so badly that he learned his exact fighting style, it fits with Spider-Man, works well, and looks good. Though, as always, the dodge button is almost a get-out-of-jail-free card here. Still, it was fun for a while. And lastly, bugs. One of my exes had crabs like anthills, and this game still has more bugs. This shit wouldn't run if you gave it 2 bionic legs and a finish line of virgin beauties with a suck fetish. 33 crashes, weird sound errors, not getting points for saving people, and cutscenes that repeated were all simply no match for just how unoptimized this was. I could put a Dreamcast game in a PS3 and expect it to run slightly better half the time than this did. Next up is story. The overall story has you take it down a henchman who ends up having more henchmen that turns out to be a collection of bad guys that seem to spawn henchmen. It's an odd feeling at times to see such a crowded cast within the story of one game. Speaking of story, I read another review and they said the game had an incoherent plot. They were being very generous. It is almost unspeakable, unless you think a pissed off Irishman with a mouthful of peanut butter, a portable home phone, and a 1975 gremlin would be a perfect and suitable writing team for a game's plot. Actually, it's not that bad. No, it is. No, it's not. Just kidding. No, seriously, it is. It's terrible. So what do you get with Amazing Spider-Man 2? Well, you know, this reminds me of the heartfelt and romantic time I told my ex-girlfriend my balls tasted like mint chocolate chip ice cream. And they would if I dipped them in mint chocolate chip ice cream. And this game would be good if it was good, but it's not. It isn't the opposite of good, which would mean bad, which would be easy to write off. Instead, it's a meandering tale like the stories grandpas tell when they don't take their heart medicine and you slip them a Tylenol PM. Heart-wrenchingly unbalanced. I rate games on a buy, wait for a sale, rent, or never speak of it again rating scale. This is a rent. I can't see the game not pissing people off after a short period of time. This thing will grate on your nerves. It's just a matter of time. And when just like a truly maniacal person dulls knives so it'll hurt more when they stab you, this game simply appears to be a normal game and then it promptly falls apart after playing. A travesty really, because if the morality system was fixed, you could explore the city. And if it was optimized, you could play without fear of a USB fucking your computer into hibernate mode. Seriously depressing. So this is Karak from AngryCentaurGaming. Thanks for listening and watching. If you like the video, hit like. If you dislike it, hit dislike. Leave a comment, a suggestion, or just leave a typical YouTube comment that reminds us all of how little intelligence it takes to comment on something. Or record a video, because let's be honest, I didn't graduate with honors or anything. Peace out, bitches.